Welcome back to TriviaCast. I'm your host Nikhil, and we've got some fun new games lined up for today's episode. But before we dive in, I wanted to give a quick thank you to all of our new listeners, and to ask you once again to please rate the episode 5 stars on your platform of choice if you're enjoying it, as it really helps me out. And of course, continue to tell your friends about the podcast if you're enjoying it. So for the format of today's episode, we'll be starting with the game of This or That. Our second category will be Crossover Episode. And the final game will be a list question themed for the President's Day holiday in the US, which just passed this week. So our first game is going to be This or That. You can think of this kind of like a multiple choice category, but the questions will be harder and only have 2 options for the answer choices. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into round number 1. Question 1. What cave formation is caused by dripping water and grows upwards from the floor of a cave? A. Stalagmites or B. Stalactites? Question 2. What is the parent company of Febreze? A. SC Johnson or B. Procter & Gamble? Question 3. What is the best-selling game for the Nintendo Switch? A. Mario Kart 8 or B. Animal Crossing New Horizons? Question 4. Who was the first pick in the 2009 NBA Draft? A. James Harden or B. Blake Griffin? And question number 5. What was the code name for the Allied invasion of Normandy in World War II? A. Operation Overlord or B. Operation Hailstone? Alright, so we'll run back through those, but I will give the answers as we go, so go ahead and pause if you'd like to take some more time. Starting with question 1. What cave formation is caused by dripping water and grows upwards from the floor of a cave? That was A. Stalagmites, stalactites being the opposite, where they grow downwards from the ceiling. Question 2. What is the parent company of Febreze? That was B. Procter & Gamble. The SC Johnson competitor would be Glade. Question 3. What is the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch? That was A. Mario Kart 8, with 52 million units sold, while Animal Crossing New Horizons has 41 million units sold. Question 4. Who was first pick in the NBA Draft in 2009? That was B. Blake Griffin. James Harden was actually the 3rd pick. And question 5. What was the code name for the Allied invasion of Normandy in World War II? That was A. Operation Overlord. Operation Hailstone was a US attack against Japan on the Pacific Front. Alright, that's going to conclude round number 1. Well done if you got those correct. And we will go ahead and jump into round number 2. So round number 2 is a round themed around crossover episode. So the questions in this round will have to do with people or characters that partook in one franchise or area and then crossed over into another. And that will make more sense once we actually jump into the questions. So let's go ahead and get started with round number 2. Question 1. What Star Wars actor or actress voiced an unpleasant catfish hunter in the 1998 film Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island? Question 2. What Renaissance author and diplomat did the rapper Tupac base his stage name on? Question 3. What multi-billionaire made a cameo playing him or herself in the 2010 film Iron Man 2? Question 4. The title of what hit 2013 song was inspired by a natural disaster that occurred 2,000 years ago? And question 5. What NFL team had their players represented as an a cappella group in the 2015 film Pitch Perfect 2? Alright, I'll run through those one more time, but I will give the answers as we go, so go ahead and pause if you would like to take some more time. Question 1. What Star Wars actor or actress voiced an unpleasant catfish hunter in the 1998 film Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island? That was Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker. Question 2. What Renaissance author and diplomat did the rapper Tupac base his stage name on? That was Machiavelli, and he used the stage name Machiavelli spelled differently. Question 3. What multi-billionaire made a cameo playing him or herself in the 2010 film Iron Man 2? That was Elon Musk. Question 4. The title of what hit 2013 song was inspired by a natural disaster that occurred 2,000 years ago? That was Pompeii by Bastille, the natural disaster being the eruption of Mount Vesuvius that leveled the town of Pompeii. And question 5. What NFL team had their players represented as an a cappella group in the 2015 film Pitch Perfect 2? That was the Green Bay Packers. They had a group of about 5 players who showed up in the riff-off in Pitch Perfect 2 and competed with the other groups. Alright, that's going to conclude round number 2. We'll go ahead and jump into our final round. So round number 3 today is going to be a list question, and listeners of the podcast will be familiar with this format as we've had it before on another episode. But as a quick refresher, I'll be giving you a topic that has multiple answers and asking you to name a certain number of those, for example, naming 2 out of 4. So we'll go ahead and jump right into the questions. So our 2 list questions are going to be themed for President's Day in the US, which was earlier this week. And the first one will be dealing with presidents who were assassinated. So for this question, list 2 out of the 4 US presidents who were assassinated while in office. And I'll give you a bit of time on this one before we move on to the second one. And for our second list question, this one will also have to do with presidents who died in office, but this time presidents who died of natural causes rather than being assassinated. So for this one, list 2 of the 4 presidents who died in office of natural causes. And again, I'll give you a bit of time before we go over the answers. Alright, let's go over the answers for these. So for the first question, name 2 of the 4 presidents who were assassinated while in office. They were Abraham Lincoln, the first to be assassinated, James Garfield, who was shot and then died about 2 months later, William McKinley, and of course John F. Kennedy, being the most recent president who was assassinated. And for our second question, name 2 of the 4 presidents who died of natural causes while in office. The first would be William Henry Harrison, who died about 1 month after his term began, Zachary Taylor, Warren G. Harding, and most recently, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who had just been elected to his 4th term, but passed away from a cerebral hemorrhage. That's going to conclude our 3rd and final round of the day, so well done if you got those correct. And before I sign off, I just wanted to give a quick update. I'll be working on getting the podcast up on social media over the next few weeks. So TriviaCast will be on Instagram, Twitter, and maybe a couple of others. And I'll also be working on getting some guests for future episodes, where I can really cater the types of trivia categories and questions to the guests' expertise or the type of content they make. So I'm excited for that, and more to come. So thanks again for listening. Make sure to give us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed the episode, and continue to tell your friends about the podcast, as that helps us out a lot to get some new listeners in. Once again, I'm your host Nikhil, and I'll see you back here next week for TriviaCast.